Ladies and gentlemen, men and women, boys and girls, welcome to the most must-watch Best Way TV. This is Health Talk. My name is Vatican Kayembe, and today in the studio we have Mama. We call her always Mama because we are African. We have that mentality, isn't it, Mama?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm actually good.
It's been a long time. We apologize for it's been a long time that we didn't see each other, almost like 3 weeks. But we always be here. We are here today. We are here to share the message with you. This is called Health Talk. Health Talk with Mama. It always be amazing. She talk about her experience, she advice and everything. The number is right there if you want to call. Today we don't have it here, but you can text. We will get your message. Facebook, Best Way TV. If you want to contact us right now live, we are here. We can still get your message and we'll read it, and Mama can give answers. So right now, Mama, we're going to talk today about the difference between HIV and AIDS. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
So, Mama, tell us what's the difference between, because there's a lot bit of confusion right now. We don't know when HIV becomes AIDS.
Okay. When HIV is the virus, as I said, if you remember last time we spoke, I said HIV was a very new disease, isn't it?
Yeah, you said
it was
that.
in the early 80s that they found about this virus.
Yeah.
So the thing that was happening is people would present in hospitals with what they called acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And they didn't know what was that because it was attacking every part of everyone's body. People were just having all these, syndromes, which would really make them not well. They would have thrush, they would have TB, they would have all sorts of things happening all at once. So the doctors just called it an acquired immune deficiency syndrome because it meant their immune system was deficient to fight diseases. So it became a syndrome. It was known as AIDS. But as
so HIV or AIDS?
It was being caused by the HIV virus.
HIV virus, yeah.
So what has now transpired is that when they discovered the HIV virus was causing this syndrome, in which people were getting very sick from various diseases, they knew that this is the final stages of HIV infection. So it's like it's like when you have cancer, you have first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage. So AIDS was like the final stage of HIV.
Yeah.
So, but of late, the word AIDS is no longer really encouraged to be used. We actually talk of people living with HIV, which stands for human immunodeficiency virus, which is HIV. And we say when you present with late stage of HIV, you say we are on stage 3 of HIV.
So no longer AIDS.
No longer AIDS, because a lot of people are getting tested. We know that there are over today, as I'm talking now, there are over 20 point something million people living with HIV, but are on medication. And these are the people who are taking medication. We know there are over 37 million people living with HIV, and 20 million
in the whole world.
Yeah, in the whole world. And 20 million of those are on treatment. So in essence, we now know that
it's only in Africa, maybe there's not a lot of people
who are not on medication. But in most countries, they are trying to, according to UNAIDS, we are supposed to have 90, which means 90% of people living with HIV must know that they must know that they live with HIV, and 90% of them should be on medication, and 90% of them should have undetectable viral load. So the 90, which the UNAIDS is trying to push in all countries, is really effective because we know now that when a person is living with HIV and they are put on medication, they can live a near normal lifespan.
See, with this new system, with everything that when you look at the technology, all the involvement of the medicine and all that kind of stuff, do you think we will still continue to reach, not calling it AIDS anymore, but stage 3 of HIV? Do you think people still get there?
Yes,
with these medications.
People still do get there because people, when you get an HIV infection, you do not get to die within 2 years. It takes a long time for people to die from HIV. It's a long disease that takes time because it's attacking your CD4 cells, which are your T cells, which is your immune system. So it takes time because your body initially continues to fight until it's overwhelmed by the virus.
Yeah, but how can you get there if you have medications, if you eat well?
A lot of people do not want to go and get tested. They do not want to know that they have this problem. You get an HIV infection. When you seroconvert, there's always something that happens. Like I said before, you either have swollen lymph nodes, you know something is not right, and you get all these other things that happens. Night sweats, where you sweat a lot at night and you wake up and you think, what's wrong with me? And people ignore these things. They don't engage with the medical fraternity to actually go and get tested to see if they are okay. And this thing can happen over years. And according to written information, it says it takes up to 9 to 11 years for somebody to actually die of stage 3 HIV. So you get infected at the age of 20, it takes you up to about 31, 34 before you die. And in that process, if you are not on medication, you are passing on the virus to the next person you meet all the time.
So you simply means to say, if you are on a medication, you will never reach stage 3 of HIV.
No, you won't. Because once you are on medication, you will not reach what people used to call AIDS. Yeah, the AIDS syndrome. It will never happen to you because once you're on medication, the medication helps to your body to kill the virus. And it kills the virus anyway until there is no virus dictatable in your bloodstream. And your body is allowed now to produce the CD4 cells normally, and therefore you live in near normal lifespan. There's research that tells us that people living with HIV are living longer, and they are going to actually die of the old age diseases, that kill everybody else because we don't live forever anyway.
Exactly.
But people need to take their medication.
Old age diseases. That is, I didn't know that to get old is a disease.
I know old age diseases. There are things that come with old age. Mobility becomes difficult when you are old. Sometimes people do get dementia because of age, and all sorts of things happen because we are aging. When we age, other things tick in, as you age, and people get mobility becomes poor, as I said. Hearing becomes poor. All things that happening. And people living with HIV who are on medication and their viral load is undetectable can also reach that stage of old age where people just, treat you as in my country we say go in the village, sekuru in the village.
It's a guru.
Yes, sekuru. You are there in the village, but you are taking your medication. The medication is that good to keep you alive going, and you will never reach that stage 3, which used to be called AIDS.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing from Mama. So from now on, with all these medicines, that means like if you take medicines, you cannot get AIDS. Let me say that way.
Yeah.
So which is called now stage 3 of HIV. Final destination of the virus is AIDS, as we used to call it. But Mama is very technical, so she's saying like it's no longer called AIDS. It's now HIV stage 3.
Yes, it's HIV stage 3. And I think according to the world policies, which UNAIDS and the World Health Organization, there's a policy now which says test and treat. So if people go to their clinics, depending on where they are, whether they are in Africa, wherever they are, they need to go and get tested. And when they find out that you are living with HIV, the policy is that they should put you on treatment immediately. So it's test and treat. You know, when I was diagnosed some 17, 18 years ago, they used to wait until your CD4 count fell to 200. And then they changed that. They said until it reaches 350, and then they changed to 500. But now they are saying no. When somebody is diagnosed with HIV, they must be tested and then be put on treatment immediately. And that is why we say treatment is prevention. Because when a person is on treatment and they are taking their medication and their viral is undetectable, they do not pass on HIV to anybody, whether through breast milk, whether through sex, whether through anything. So I am saying people should know their status and take their medication.
Yeah. So now, Mama, because I think you've explained all the difference between HIV and AIDS today. Now, we always want to leave this place with a positive note. What is the advice you would give people to do not get to stage 3 of HIV?
You know, if you contracted HIV and you have never been tested, please go and get tested. And you think there's something wrong with you, it's always good to go and have a look at it, because you will have.
How would you know that you've contracted HIV?
And
you've never been tested, so you won't know.
You wouldn't know, but I think everybody should go and get that HIV test if you know you're vulnerable. And we talk about people using protection. Use protection. Whenever you meet your partners or whatever you're doing, use protection. Condoms, I believe they are female condoms, they are male condoms, is the best way to protect oneself. Especially when it comes to casual relationships. It's always the best to use condoms, because you do not know what that person is carrying. You don't have their CV on their sexual life. So use condoms. And you as an individual need to take that active role to actually have an HIV test every so often, so that you know that you do not carry the virus. And when you do carry the virus, if you are living in the Western world, they'll put you straight away on medication. They will talk, you get counseling, and it's always good to have that HIV test in a clinical setting, because they provide all the things that are required, which is pre-counseling before you do the test, and post-counseling after you get the results. Should you turn out to be positive, they will give you counseling, and that does help with your mental health, because you don't leave the place thinking, I'm going to die tomorrow. And they will signpost you to third sector organizations, charities that will help you with that diagnosis, how that journey goes about. And people just need to do that. People need to know their HIV status. And a lot of us as Africans don't want to know. And yet we get things like colds, and that cold lasts for a month. A cold should never last for a month. A cold should last you 7 days and it's gone, because it's short. But somebody who have a cold for a month, then you're like, why do you keep having colds that last so long? Oh, I don't know, they are always so... And you say to them, why don't you go get tested? And they get upset, because, why should I get tested? Where would I have gotten HIV? But if you looked at your sexual CV, were you using condoms all the time? Were you protecting yourself all the time? You do not base your sexual health on another person. I trust them. No, you don't trust them, because you don't know them. You don't know what they've been involved in.
For example, let's say this. Your case, you contracted HIV within marriage. So there could be other people as well, like they don't need to go and test, but it's one of them brought it within the household, so they could delay because they don't have nothing is clicking in their mind, like I need to get tested, because they don't go out or anything like that.
Yes, but you see, this is the whole point. This is the whole... I will say, when I got diagnosed, which was a long time ago, in 2003 to be precise, I had AIDS, which then they used to call AIDS, because my CD4 count was way below 200.
So you were already...
I had all these little ailments, like I would get colds, I would get sores here and there, I would get boils, I would get thrush, I would get all sorts of things. And thankfully, I never got TB, because you could get something like TB,
Mm-hmm.
which could actually kill you.
Because your human system,
your immune system is compromised,
yeah.
and you can get things like meningitis, which can take you out just like that, because your immune system is compromised. And when I got that diagnosis, obviously my first question, it wasn't where could I have gotten it, because I knew something was not right when my partner passed on, my husband passed on. But
but that's my point.
Yeah.
You if you are in a relationship, especially if you are married, or you are in a long-term relationship, you don't think of going to test yourself, because you don't sleep with one person to another, because you don't have that thing at the back of your mind, that I'm safe, this is my partner.
You are safe, you are safe, but you and your partner must go for that HIV test, because, it just doesn't happen overnight. And now when I reflect back on my personal life experience, this thing did not start, overnight. I didn't just wake up one day and my husband was sick. From he had this ailment, he had this. These were little things that were happening.
But what I'm saying is, your partner could be negative from the beginning. You could even go to test.
Yes, you could go to test and he's negative. And
you are negative as
positive.
Well. Yeah, no, and you both of you are negative. And then when you're coming in the house, you are leaving, and then one start going out, and then they bring in inside. But the innocent person between them two wouldn't have that sense of like, I need to get tested,
but
because you trust your partner.
If your husband is cheating or your wife is cheating, something would tell you something is happening in this place, in this relationship. And sometimes as Africans, and I would like to say as an African woman, things were happening, and I knew something was not right. But you just pretend, no, I'm the only one. Where could he wouldn't be doing something like that? And also ignorance adds up to that, because when people are ignorant about their sexual health, and I was ignorant about sexual health, I was very ignorant. Things do happen. We don't even think about protecting ourselves, because we think, oh, he's my husband, what could he do? What could he bring back into the house?
Let me say this first before to cut you off there. Maybe the next topic is going to be, how can you protect yourself within marriage?
Can you
think about it that way?
If you think your husband or your wife is cheating, use condoms. Use condoms.
Why would you think like that? Because you does it make sense in marriage when you start like, okay, let's use.
But you see, for example, there's a research that was done in sub-Saharan Africa. They found it was easier for young women who were not married for them to remain HIV negative than young women in marriage, because the gender dynamics did not allow our young women to actually say to a man knowingly that he's having an affair, no, I don't want to have sex without a condom. And the man would turn around and say, I got married. I married you. I paid dowry. Culture kicks in. A lot of things kick in when it's that kind of situation. This is why we need to empower each other, regardless of who it is, whether it's men or women. Because I'm not going to say it's only men who go out. Women also have extramarital affairs.
Yeah.
So we need to get to that place where both young men and young women are empowered in order to exercise their sexual rights within the matrimonial home.
Okay.
Because if we don't do that, we are still going to continue getting people affected by HIV and people not knowing that they are living with HIV because they have not been tested, because I trust him. I've been with him for so long. He's been with me for that. And a lot of our young women, if you look at research, African women, they are diagnosed when they go to the clinic, antenatal clinic, because now it's a law that they should be tested for HIV, and they are found to have HIV. And because we were having a lot of young children born with HIV, that's why we have so many orphans in Africa today, because our women were not being tested. But now we know that when young women get pregnant, they go to the clinic, antenatal clinic, they are tested for HIV, and should they turn out to be positive, they are put on treatment so that they do not pass on the virus to their child, and they are able to live and bring up their child, because social skills normally come from the mother. And we have a huge pool of orphans, vulnerable orphans in Africa today, who lost their parents and they are being looked after by other people. And they are losing out on the essence of Ubuntu, which we talk about. Ubuntu, which is humanness, human kindness.
No, it makes more sense because I understand it perfectly, because that's how we say in Swahili.
Yes,
Umutu.
Ubuntu, yes. So, this is the kind of situation. But once women, and then it doesn't need young women to be taken to the antenatal clinic, because not all of them are in the process of wanting to have children. But I would say each time you meet a new partner, go for an HIV test. Make sure you're okay. And if your partner is positive, then use condoms and make sure they take their medication until their viral load is undetectable.
Okay.
And then, because now there's the U is equal to U. You've heard of that, haven't you?
Yes.
Which means undetectable is equal to untransmittable. You're on medication, your virus becomes undetectable. It means you cannot pass it on to the next person, even when you have sex without a condom, or when you breastfeed, or when you do all these kind of things.
Thank you very much, Mama. We are at the end of this health talk, but we're going to say to the people, don't be disappointed. Mama is going on a vacation for 1 month, so that means we'll see each other maybe at the end of September again. So we'll be together. So Mama, I wish you a good vacation. You're going to Africa, yeah?
Yes, I'm going to Africa.
So Mama is going to Africa. She's going to eat fresh food there. We are still here in Scotland, getting cold, and soon it's going to be snow and everything. But we wish you all the best. And then please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Baseway TV, and follow us on Facebook, Baseway TV. If you have a comment or anything, or if you have a question about Health Talk, you want to ask Mama or anything like that, please, our number is right there. Please send us a message, and then you'll get to Mama. If you want, put a comment on Facebook, you'll get to Mama. So thank you very much. And for now, we're going to say
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.